And I think another thing that people assume is if I have an 800 credit score, I'm going to get all the approvals I need. And I think that that's the end all be all. I get it to 800 and I have no issues. But for people with an 800 credit score, some of you still might be getting denied for business lines of credit, for mortgages, for all kinds of stuff. So talk about why somebody might have a very high credit score, but still not be able to really be fundable.
All right. So in the simplest terms, an 800 plus credit score means you get more of what you already got. So if it's based on department store cards and tier 3 and credit union cards and regional bank cards, and if it's based on credit cards, you're going to get approved for more of what you already have. You're not going to level up. You don't get to marry up when it comes to lenders, you guys. There is no being there's not being the class clown and marrying the, now I know there's going to be somebody, but I was the class clown and I did get the homecoming queen, right? But I'm saying in practical lender terms, we don't marry up. We get we're introduced to this is a great one. If you use points and bonuses from credit cards, the offers you get are going to be points-based bonuses and credit cards. If you're not using points and bonuses and you're getting tier 100% value cards, you're going to get other offers because you get more of what you've already got. That's why I always say I help my clients get multiple six-figure business lines of credit, because if you get approved for one, lenders look at how you use that bank's credit line and they're like, I want a piece of that action. We get more of what we want. So the score, but just so you know, the scores themselves are completely irrelevant to your approval. Can I illustrate that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Would that be okay?
Of course.
Going way off book here, you guys, but this is vital. This is probably, if somebody says, what did you learn from Merrill? The number one answer is that my score is worthless. Even the 800 ones, okay? Because what you said is we can have high scores and still not get approved for the things we want. So let's talk about it. First of all, we're going to draw a line. We're going to draw a line right there, okay? This is what we call this the denial threshold, okay? Denial threshold. It's not this for every bank, but let's call it 720. 720 is a bank's denial threshold. That means anything down here, you're not going to get any offers in the mail, because they use the bank's denial threshold as where they start their mailing list. You have to be at least 1 point above the denial threshold or you won't even get. And remember, there's 3 bureaus. Banks pull from different bureaus, so you're going to get different offers. Some of you may be aware that it's weird. I only get American Express offers, and others only get Capital One offers, and some get all kinds of offers, right? It's because the bureau, you're at or above that denial threshold for that lender. Next, over here, 40 borrower behaviors. That is what you get approved on. This gets you in to watch the concert. You don't get to play. Oh, not even a concert. This lets you in the game. It doesn't put you on the bench, much less as a starter in playing the funding game. It lets you in the stadium. Then they're going to measure, and your credit report reveals all of this for the preceding 24 months. They're going to look at you for all these borrower behaviors. And remember when I said FICO's platform and everybody puts in there, do you realize there's 150 borrower behaviors they get to choose from? It's like a cafeteria style plan. A lender comes up and it goes like, well, which of these do we want to make our underwriting criteria about? And cash advance loans have a completely different set of borrower behaviors than a tier 1 than Chase Bank. Okay. So every lender gets to choose which 40 borrower behaviors. Then, and only then, this is where the magic happens. They get approved or denied here, not here. Here, you're in the game. They read your app. If your credit scores are under this denial threshold, automatic denial. Some of you have filed a credit report and you didn't hit the denial threshold on your online app. denied. 30 seconds. It wasn't even. In fact, when I'm at FICO World and you go through their kiosks, they actually advertise how many milliseconds a decision happens. They're advertising.
Nuts.
We do this in 6 milliseconds for the decision, right? It's longer to make the phone call than to make the decision. So we get approved or denied here. Then if we're approved, this is where they determine rate and term and amount. So the higher your score, so if you have a 720 or an 820, if your borrower behaviors get you approved, rate, term, and amount, this is where it becomes, is it a 2,000, a 20,000, or a 200,000? Happens after you're approved, guys, not before. You have never, ever, ever, under any circumstance, been approved with your score. Straight from God's FICO God's mouth to my ear. You have never been approved because these borrower behaviors are what do it for you.